was the Burnett versus the National Association of Realtors lawsuit last August the best thing that has ever happened to our industry? Well, it forced us to level up our game. It's not a bad thing at all. When you look back in 5 years, 10 years from now, was a turning point for our industry where our people are going to go back and look at this and say, that was the pivotal point right there where people started treating this as a business. And they really understood that a real estate agent is the CEO of their business. And how are you going to serve your clients in a way that's going to justify the commissions that we make? Well, it's just leveling up your game. That's it. So to me, this is an opportunity that this lawsuit took on us for a reason. And the reason is that instead of people looking at our industry as like a used car salesman industry, they are now going to look at it as a profession, and a professionalism is going to be demanded by the consumer. Otherwise, they're not going to want to pay the commission. So therefore, I personally believe that it was a pivotal point that when we look back, we're going to say that was it. That was the time where the real estate industry really leveled up through proven models, systems, and processes. And therefore, now we're giving an experience to the consumer that justifies our commission. Here's the ironic part. The buyer commission was really the part of the transaction that was under debate. Well, the buyer was really funding the transaction from the get-go. So in my opinion, yeah, it was very fair for them to get an understanding of how this commission structure is going to work. And now, just like a listing, you have to get an agreement with the listing in order to sell their home. Well, that practice should have never changed. It should have never been different. You should have always had to list the buyer, because you want commitment from that buyer that your time, your energy, and their time and energy is going to be well worth what they're getting in form of a commission. So now where are we at today? Buyer agreements are now a standard, always have, should have been. Great, right? But more importantly for the realtor, what's great is now what is the value that you're getting and how do they equate that to actual dollars? So again, why is this great for the real estate industry? The buyer agency, the buyer representation has to be leveled up. You have to do better. So one thing that was a little hard about this lawsuit is obviously the transparency and the easiness of knowing what you were going to get paid on the platform such as the MLS, and the listing agent being able to expose what that commission was going to be. So that was a little bit hard. So if you believe that this wasn't a good thing, I can see that point. And the positive of that is now you have the realtor having to really level their game up on negotiation. And what I mean by that is you now have to have that conversation with the listing agent is, hey, what is the compensation that the seller is going to be giving based on who I have as the consumer, and the value that I'm bringing them. And because you're controlling the product on the listing side, but I actually have the client on the buy side, it's just a conversation. It's a negotiation between the two parties to really get an understanding of what is the value and what is the consumer seeing as the value and what are they willing to pay for that. So we track everything. We're research people, and the multi-year trends is a tool that we have where we are looking at the stats and the data that is supporting business ownership and entrepreneurship. What have we found since the lawsuit? The producers, the agents that know their value, they're making more money on the commission. This is actually a very positive thing for them as far as financially to put into their business. Is their average commission is actually up since the time of the lawsuit. Now, you have newer agents that might have ran for the hills, to be honest with you, because they didn't know how to handle it. That's why getting into the classroom and getting into the training room has never been more important than it is today. So if you are a newer agent, don't be scared of it. Just like we were talking about with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, actually embrace it, because it's proven business models and proven systems and giving an experience to the consumer that's always going to win.